Hey everyone, welcome back to Wixfix. I hope you're having a fantastic day. In today's video, we're going to be learning how to create a multi-state box slideshow that is completely automatic. So basically, we're going to be setting a time frame and it's going to automatically go through the different states of the multi-state box without the user having to press any buttons. And before we get started, I do want to mention that this does require a little bit of code. As you guys know, anything that you do with multi-state boxes typically requires code. But as usual, if you've clicked the link in the description, you can go ahead and grab the code for yourself. However, I will say continue to watch the video to learn how you set it up properly. Also, I do want to mention that this code was found by Nicholas Speech, I believe his name, and he posted the code on a Facebook group, so I want to give him a shout out as well. But let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing that we're going to do, of course, is make sure that dev mode is turned on, because without dev mode turned on, we don't have access to multi-state boxes, which we need for this tutorial. Then with dev mode turned on, we can go to add, we can go to layout tools, we can go to multi-state box, and we can just drag this multi-state box out onto the page. And what I'm going to do is set the width to be 100% for the multi-state box. We'll send it to the top, middle, just like that. Then we'll click the item inside, or the box inside of the multi-state box, and we'll set the height to 500 pixels, just like that. Then we'll add an image inside of it and we'll stretch it. And just for fun, let's add some text. We'll call this one state 1, just so that we know what we're working with. So we'll go ahead and do that. And I'll just center the text here as well. Then what I want to do is come over to the multi-state box. We'll go to manage states and we'll go to the second one right here. Just like before, we'll set the height to 500 pixels. We'll add an image. We'll stretch it, and let's change the image here just so that we can visibly see the change. And then I'm going to paste in the text from the first state box, and we'll just change this one to state 2. There we go. Now we are basically ready to start coding. The first thing that we're going to do is come over to the onReady function. Inside here, we want to create a variable. So we're going to call this one variable states, and we're going to have this equal to the amount of states that we have in the state box. So if we click on the multi-state box and press manage states, we're going to notice we have box 1 and box 2. Well, actually the box 2 is actually the first state box. It's just named backwards. So what we're going to do is say box 2, and then we're going to do comma box 1, just like that. And we are done with this one. We're going to create another variable called state number, and we're going to have this equal to 0, just like that. Now underneath these variables, we're going to create a function, and we're going to call this one slideshow with some parentheses, and then outside the parentheses we'll add some curly brackets. Inside here, we want to grab the multi-state box, which we can see right here. It's called multi-state box 1. So we're going to say $W, and we're going to scroll down till we see multi-state box 1, just like that. We're going to say dot change state, and inside the parentheses, we're going to say states, and then we're going to have some straight brackets, and we're going to say state number, just like that. Let's go ahead and press enter. And underneath that, we're going to create an if statement. So we're going to say if state number is less than states dot length -1, then we want something to happen. So what we want to happen is we want state number ++, which is basically going to add 1 to 0. So it's going to make this variable, instead of 0, it's going to be 1. And then underneath that, we're going to say else. We're going to set the state number back to 0. So basically, once it goes through all of the different states, we then want it to go back to 1. Now underneath the else statement, we need to now set the time. So we're going to say set timeout, and we're going to have some parentheses. We're going to say slideshow, comma, and let's go ahead and put 6,000. So this is going to be 6,000 milliseconds, which is basically going to be 6 seconds. And of course, if you want it less, you can always do 3 seconds, or if you want more, you can do 10 seconds. It doesn't really matter, but for this video, let's go ahead and do 6. And then underneath this set timeout function, let's go ahead and do slideshow, and we'll just have the function run, which I actually need to capitalize this S, just like that. And before we press preview, I did make a mistake. We don't want to have these little hashtag symbols here. So now we can go ahead and press preview, and we'll start off on state 1. And after about 6 seconds, it will automatically transition over to state 2, just like that. Now I'm sure you can use some Velo animation or Wix's animation API to make this a more seamless transition or smoother transition instead of just snapping. But that's basically going to wrap it up for today's video. If you all did enjoy, please consider giving this video a like and consider subscribing for more Wix and Editor X content coming out really soon. Thank you all again, and I'll see you all in the next one.